You probably already know that Charlie Kirk has been passed away tragically while doing a tour in Utah in a university, and the alleged suspect, has been arrested already. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not a huge fan of Charlie Kirk. In fact, I disagreed with him on a lot of issues, such as his stance on Israel and Gaza and abortion. But here's the thing, the first time I found out about his sudden tragic death, I found out through a meme shared by left wing Facebook page. First, I thought that it must be a joke. Then I saw another. It made me intrigued, and I went over to X to find out that he has been passed away tragically. And what shocked me more than the tragedy itself was seeing people online celebrating his death. They were not sad, they were not neutral. In fact, they were happy celebrating his death. They celebrated his death like it was some sort of liberation. Not just strangers online, but my friends who I thought that they were intellectual, they were empathetic, they were emotionally stable, were also celebrating his death. And that's when I stopped and asked myself this question: what does this say about us? And it's not the first time. When a controversial figure passes, the internet celebrate his or her death. They do not see a person, they see an enemy, they see a symbol, they see an opponent. And whenever that enemy dies, the tribe rejoices. We've seen it before. We've seen the left celebrating the death of Rush Limbaugh. We've seen the right celebrating the death of Ginsburg. We've seen the Western civilization celebrating the death of Osama bin Laden. The side changes, but the pattern doesn't. It tells something ancient about ourselves, and that is our hunger for vengeance, not justice. When their opponent dies, it's a sweet justice. When our hero dies, it's a tragedy. Both sides condemn celebration when it hurts them, but instantly indulge in it when it's the death of their enemy. It's a mirror. No one likes to see it, but it's real. This is where the group thinking comes in. The online mobs are so powerful because they give a sense of belonging to people. When the group decides to cheer the death of a person which they dislike, some individual who may find it wrong stays silent, or worse, they join in, because that's how the group influences the individual thinking. Critical thinking gets thrown out of the door. Instead of asking, is this is right, is this is moral, the questions instantly become what everyone else is doing. What will make me look like I belong here? And that's the danger of group thinking. It doesn't just replace the individual thinking, but it punishes it. Now, I know that groups also have some advantages, such as people feel secure and safe in them. People feel belong to something special. It's easy to make new friends in a group of similar minded people. But in return, the group dictates that how you should feel and how you should act. Justice requires due process, but the internet, it doesn't want it. It wants emotion, it wants speed, it wants blood. We don't wait for truth anymore. We live in a time what philosophers call post-truth era, where feelings outweigh the facts, where narrative is more important than the reality. The online mobs aren't celebrating because they know that the justice is served. They are celebrating because it feels good to destroy the enemy's legacy. These group of people see other people who disagree with their opinions as bad as insects like cockroach, and they see themselves as beautiful and liberating as butterfly. Nietzsche said it best: if you kill a cockroach, you are a hero. If you kill a butterfly, you are a villain. Morality has aesthetic standards. What Nietzsche meant here is profound, that morality isn't absolute, it's shaped by perception. We don't judge actions only by facts, we judge them based on appearances, by how they make us feel. And on internet it plays out perfectly. If the enemy, the person who disagrees with their opinion, dies, he is seen as a cockroach. The mob feels heroic celebrating his death. If the figure is seen as butterfly, the same act becomes villainous. Morality bends to aesthetics, morality bends to narrative, and most importantly, morality bends to crowd's emotion. That's why the same people who are condemning the celebration of one death can turn around and start cheering for another. It's not about truth, it's about optics. What does this say about us? That maybe in pursuit of justice we have lost compassion. In celebrating the deaths of those who we hate exposes the inner darkness which resides in ourselves, and that we are no different than the enemies we despise. Which also makes me to discuss the elephant in the room, and that is his empathy quote, which the people who are celebrating his death are quoting. You shouldn't have empathy, something like that. I will attach the quote here. And I looked up on the internet. I found the video in which he was saying, number one, it was taken completely out of context. He was talking about politics. Second, the quote is incomplete, the people which they are quoting.
Instead, it is to say you're actually not in pain. So let's just very short clip. Bill Clinton in the 1990s, it was all about empathy and sympathy. I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made up new age term that does a lot of damage, but it is very effective when it comes to politics. Sympathy, I prefer more than empathy. That's a separate topic for a different time.
Now, it's up to you if you want to believe it or not that the quote which you are posting about him is full or not. But let's just say that it is what he meant, that he doesn't care about empathy. So my question is that what's the difference between you and him then? If you are so good and he's so bad that he doesn't have the empathy, you are doing the very same thing which he said according to you. At the end, you are just the polar ends of the same rope. If you are celebrating his death by saying that he said you shouldn't have empathy, so that's why I'm celebrating, so it means that you are very much alike. So in the end, Charlie Kirk's tragic passing should remind us of morality, not fuel more division. But the internet doesn't work like that. The internet works for likes, for clout, and most importantly, for drives. So I leave you with this question. Do you think celebrating someone's death is ever justified, or is it just vengeance disguised as morality? I want to hear your thoughts down below. And also I wish patience and resilience to his family, because I could only wonder that what they must be going through. Indeed, he was one of the brightest young people out there, even though I disagree with a lot of things he said, but I think that he was very loyal to the cause on which he was working. I hope that you found this video a little thought-provoking, and I will see you in another one. Peace.